chosen one. This message found you for a reason. Not by chance, not by coincidence, and not because you were scrolling at the right time. Something deeper is at work here. God has a way of placing revelation in front of those who are ready to carry more, and right now, your capacity is expanding. What you are stepping into is not merely about finances, influence, or access. It is about alignment. Many people pray for overflow while ignoring the human channels God uses to release it. Yet throughout history, divine increase rarely fell from the sky without instruction. It arrived through people who were already positioned near the assignment. If you've been sensing unusual shifts in your life, new conversations, unexpected introductions, subtle reconnections, or a growing awareness around a particular individual, this is not random. God often sends provision wrapped in relationship. The reason this matters is because what God is preparing to place in your hands requires stewardship, discernment, and humility. Wealth transfer is never about ego. It is about equipping purpose. When God trusts someone with greater resources, it is because he intends to amplify impact, not inflate pride. Many chosen ones delay their own breakthrough because they are looking only for dramatic signs while overlooking quiet positioning. The truth is, God frequently hides access in familiarity. The person connected to your next level may not look impressive, sound prophetic, or announce their role. They may show up as a mentor, a business contact, a client, a helper, a friend, or even someone who challenges your comfort. This is why spiritual alertness matters. Discernment allows you to recognize value before results appear. Throughout sacred history, progress often came when individuals honored divine alignment. One man's obedience connected him to favor inside foreign systems. Another woman's loyalty placed her in the lineage of kings. Leaders rose because they understood timing and relationships, not because they chased power. These examples were not driven by entitlement, they were guided by trust. God does not release lasting increase to those who demand it, but to those who respect the process attached to it. If this message is resonating, take a second to reflect on the people God has already placed around you. Not everyone is meant to walk with you forever, but some are meant to open doors you cannot open alone. That does not mean dependency, it means partnership. God never designed destiny to be fulfilled in isolation. Even the strongest leaders in history were supported by others who carried different keys. This is where spiritual maturity separates longing from readiness. When you're prepared for increase, you stop asking only for blessing and start asking for wisdom. Wisdom teaches you how to handle conversations, how to listen more than you speak, how to move without rushing, and how to honor access when it is granted. Many lose opportunities not because God withheld them, but because impatience revealed unpreparedness. There is also a reason resistance often appears before provision. When God prepares to elevate someone, distractions, misunderstandings, and internal doubts tend to surface. These are not signals to retreat, they are indicators that growth is underway. What matters is how you respond. Do you harden your heart, or do you refine your posture? Do you rush ahead, or do you stay anchored in prayer and clarity? Those who move with God learn that stillness can be as strategic as action. Let this be clear, not every person who crosses your path is assigned to your increase. Discernment keeps you balanced. Fear pushes people to reject everyone. Wisdom teaches you how to observe, test, and pray. God does not rush revelation, and he does not confuse his children. Peace is often the confirmation, not pressure. When alignment is real, it strengthens your values rather than compromises them. If this message is stirred by you, engage with it. Like the video as an act of agreement, not for numbers, but for alignment. Share it with someone who has been praying for direction in their journey. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to The Chosen Star so you stay connected to teachings designed to strengthen your faith, sharpen your discernment, and help you walk with clarity. As we continue, we will uncover why opposition often intensifies when provision is near, how spiritual resistance targets relationships before resources, and what you must guard so that nothing interrupts what God is preparing to release. This is not about fear, it is about readiness. As God positions people for increase, opposition rarely attacks money first. It targets perception, trust, and discernment. Many chosen ones do not lose access because the door was closed. They lose it because doubt spoke louder than wisdom. This is why spiritual warfare around wealth often appears subtle. It does not always arrive as loss. It arrives as suspicion, offense, pride, or unnecessary withdrawal. The enemy understands that if he can damage relationships, he can delay provision. Think about how often fear disguises itself as caution. There is a difference between discernment and mistrust. Discernment is calm, prayerful, and grounded. Mistrust is anxious, reactionary, and fueled by past wounds. When God prepares to use a person as a channel of increase, the enemy often replays old disappointments in your mind, reminding you of times you were disappointed, overlooked, or taken advantage of. This is not coincidence. It is an attempt to close your heart right before alignment unfolds. History shows that divine elevation is often connected to unlikely relationships. One man was lifted from confinement into leadership because he interpreted insight faithfully for others. Another received favor through consistent service long before recognition followed. None of these outcomes happened overnight, and none occurred without resistance. Yet the common thread was posture. They remained faithful, attentive, and anchored in God rather than driven by desperation. For you, this season requires clarity without haste. Pay attention to patterns, not just personalities. God often confirms alignment through consistency rather than charisma. Does this person bring peace rather than confusion? Do they respect your values? Do conversations leave you encouraged rather than drained? These are quiet indicators that matter more than loud promises. Wealth connected to purpose flows through stability, not chaos. You may also notice that when a true connector is near, your own growth accelerates. Your thinking stretches, your vision expands, your discipline sharpens. This is not because the person is your source, but because God uses proximity to activate maturity. When alignment is right, you are not diminished, you are strengthened. That is how you know the connection is healthy. Another important truth: sometimes the wealth transfer does not arrive as money first. It arrives as access, knowledge, exposure, or opportunity. Many people dismiss these seeds because they are expecting immediate results, but God often tests stewardship with responsibility before releasing resources. If someone trusts you with insight, time, or collaboration, how you handle that reveals whether you are ready for more. This is also why humility is essential. Pride blocks flow. A teachable spirit attracts favor. Those who received much are often those who honor what looks small. The world celebrates visibility. God rewards faithfulness. When you remain grounded, grateful, and prayerful, you create space for increase that lasts. Ask yourself honestly, are you guarding your heart or building walls? There is wisdom in protection, but there is also danger in isolation. God never intended you to navigate purpose alone. Even Jesus sent people in pairs, not because they were weak, but because unity multiplies strength. The right people do not replace God, they reflect His guidance. Midway through this message, take a moment to engage. Comment below what area of your life you are believing God to increase: wisdom, provision, clarity, or impact. When you speak it, you acknowledge readiness. And when you read the comments of others, you are reminded that this journey is shared, not solitary. As we move forward, we will address how to position yourself so that when God releases the connection fully, nothing is wasted. You will learn how to respond without pressure, how to build wisely without forcing outcomes, and how to stay spiritually alert so no distraction interferes with what God is releasing. This is not about chasing people. It is about honoring alignment. In this phase, wisdom is not proven by speed, but by positioning. Many chosen ones feel pressure to act quickly when they sense opportunity nearby, but haste without instruction can damage what patience would protect. God is not nervous about timing. When He connects you to people tied to increase, He also releases grace to walk it out wisely. Your responsibility is not to rush the outcome, but to remain spiritually aligned. One of the clearest signs that God is involved in a connection is peace that remains even when answers are incomplete. You may not understand how everything will unfold, yet your spirit stays steady. This is different from excitement alone. Excitement fades when challenges appear, but peace endures because it is anchored in trust. When peace governs your decisions, you avoid unnecessary mistakes. There is also a call here to maturity. Wealth tied to purpose demands character to sustain it. God often watches how you handle conversations, confidentiality, and correction before releasing more influence. If a person shares insight with you, guard it. If they give feedback, receive it without defensiveness. These small responses reveal readiness for larger responsibility. At this stage, prayer shifts from asking for provision to asking for wisdom. Instead of saying, "God, give me more," the prayer becomes, "God, help me steward what is in front of me." This posture attracts favor because it reflects trustworthiness. Increase follows those who handle access with integrity. You may also notice resistance intensifying internally. Doubt may whisper that you are unqualified. Comparison may suggest others deserve it more. These thoughts are not random. They surface when growth is near. Do not wrestle with them emotionally. Address them spiritually. Remind yourself that God does not choose based on background alone. He chooses based on obedience and availability. Another important insight: not every helpful person will stay forever. Some are seasonal, assigned to unlock one door before stepping aside. Honor them without trying to hold on too tightly. Gratitude keeps doors open even after seasons shift. When transitions are handled well, future connections arrive with ease. This is also where generosity becomes powerful. Giving is not manipulation, it is alignment. When you sow from a grateful heart, you demonstrate trust in God rather than fear of lack. Whether through time, encouragement, or resources, generosity positions you to receive without striving. It breaks the mindset that says you must cling to everything to survive. Take a moment here and reflect. Are you open to learning from unexpected people? Are you willing to serve before being celebrated? Are you prepared to grow quietly before increase becomes visible? These questions shape outcomes more than strategy alone. If this message is speaking to you, engage right now. Like the video, share it with someone who is believing for breakthrough, and subscribe to The Chosen Star if you haven't already. You are part of a community learning how to walk in faith with clarity and purpose. As we move into the final part, we will bring everything together: how to recognize alignment, guard your spirit, move forward confidently, and stay rooted in God as increase unfolds. This is about finishing well, not just starting strong. Now comes the moment where faith turns inward and becomes action. Everything you have sensed, learned, and confirmed must now be lived out daily. The greatest mistake chosen ones make is waiting for a dramatic sign while overlooking consistent obedience. God rarely shouts instructions when He has already whispered them through peace, conviction, and alignment. What you consistently honor will shape what consistently grows. At this stage, confidence must be rooted in God, not people. The person connected to your increase is not your source, they are a channel. Channels can change, but the source never does. When you remember this, you stay humble, grounded, and free from fear. You no longer worry about losing access because you trust the one who opens doors no human can close. This is also where discipline protects destiny. As opportunities expand, distractions often increase alongside them. You may feel pulled in many directions, invited into conversations that look promising but drain focus. Learn to say no without guilt. Every yes must serve your assignment. Focus is a spiritual skill, and guarding it keeps you aligned with purpose. Another truth many overlook is that wealth tied to God's plan is not only financial, it includes wisdom, relationships, creativity, influence, and timing. Money follows movement, but movement begins in the spirit. When you commit to growing daily through prayer, learning, service, and integrity, you position yourself for lasting impact rather than temporary gain. Expect growth to stretch you. Comfort zones will be challenged. Old habits may no longer fit the season you are entering. This is not loss, it is refinement. God often removes what once worked to make room for what will work next. Trust Him enough to release what no longer serves your future. Stay accountable. Isolation weakens discernment. Surround yourself with voices that encourage faith, not fear. Seek counsel that strengthens conviction, not confusion. When God elevates you, He also expects you to remain teachable. Pride closes doors faster than lack ever could. As you walk forward, speak life over your path. Words shape direction. Declare alignment, clarity, and favor daily. Speak gratitude even before results appear. Gratitude sharpens spiritual sight and keeps your heart prepared for more. When thanksgiving leads, peace follows. Now let this truth settle deep within you. What God has assigned to you cannot be taken by someone else. There is no competition in purpose. When you move in faith, you do not delay another person's blessing, you activate your own. Trusting God frees you from comparison and empowers you to celebrate others without insecurity. If this message has strengthened you, now is the time to respond. Like this video so it reaches others who need encouragement. Share it with someone who is believing for God's direction. Subscribe to The Chosen Star and become part of a growing community committed to faith, purpose, and spiritual growth. Before you go, leave a comment declaring wealth transfer as an act of faith, not as hype, but as an agreement with God's plan over your life. When you speak it, you align your heart with expectation and obedience. Remember, Chosen One, God is intentional. He places people, opportunities, and insight in your path at the right time. Stay alert, stay humble, stay faithful. What He has promised, He will bring to pass, step by step, season by season. This is not the end. This is the beginning of walking boldly into what God has already prepared for you. Stay connected, stay faithful, and keep rising.